আসসালামু আলাইকুম। ম্যাডাম, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
ভালো ম্যাডাম, আমরা ভালো আছি তো?
জি স্যার, আলহামদুলিল্লাহ।
সবাই ভালো আছি। চলে আসি।
হ্যাঁ,
হ্যাঁ, আসসালামু
আলাইকুম স্যার।
আলাইকুম। থ্যাংক ইউ। আমি কয়েকটা কথা বলি জরুরি। এটা হলো আমাদের সেশন 3:30 শুরু হবে। By this time I have talked with our respected CEO sir and he will come inshallah. কয়েকটা কনসিকুয়েন্ট বিষয় আমি সকলের দৃষ্টি আকর্ষণ করতেছি, একটু মন দিয়ে শুনি। সেটা হলো 25 তারিখে পরীক্ষা হবে। হ্যাঁ, তাহলে কি নো হেজিটেশন or further thinking on extension of your exam date, and that will not be taken or valid. তাহলে কি হলো, পরীক্ষা পিছাবে না, এই ধরনের কোনো চিন্তাই মাথায় আনা যাবে না। আরেকটা হচ্ছে 25 তারিখে পরীক্ষা হবে। আমাদের শিডিউল যেগুলো, এগুলো আমি দেখলাম 23 তারিখ পর্যন্ত হয়তো ক্লাস রাখবো। কিছু কিছু জিনিস আছে গ্রেটার ইন্টারেস্টে, নিজেদের সাথে এগুলো মেনে নিতে হয় এবং all should have to try also join that those sequences, even the schedule. যদিও আমরা কেউ আছে এখানে এক্সামটেড, কেউ আছে এমইউ থেকে আসা, কেউ আছে প্যাস, কেউ আছে রেগুলার স্টুডেন্টস, সব শব্দের কথা বলতেছি। তো যেটা বলার, পরীক্ষায় মূলত 7 সাবজেক্ট দিচ্ছে, এরকম সংখ্যা খুবই নগণ্য এবং আপনাদের এই সেশনটা এক্সামিনেশনে না নেওয়ারই একটা ইয়ে ছিল। দিলেন, এই জন্য we have also taken initiative and getting the chance all of you এবং আপনাদের সকলকে পরীক্ষায়, যদিও সফটওয়্যারে প্রবলেম হোক ইয়ে হোক, আমরা পরীক্ষা অংশগ্রহণ করালাম। এখন বিষয় হলো যে আপনি যে কয়েক সাবজেক্টে পরীক্ষা দিয়েছেন আপনি দেবেন। আমার কথা শোনা যায় বিপ্লব, আফরোজা ম্যাডাম?
স্যার শোনা যাচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, থ্যাংক ইউ। তো মন দিয়ে শুনে নেন, এগুলো তো কেউ বলবে না, এভাবে সাজিয়ে গুছিয়ে পাবেন না, একটু বলবেন। তাহলে এখন কি হলো যে আপনি পরীক্ষা দিবেন আমাদের ফর দ্য ইন্টারেস্ট অফ ইউ, এই জন্য আমরা প্রপোজ করে দিচ্ছি সবকিছু। আমার রিকমেন্ডেশন লাগে সবকিছুতে আপনাদের। ক্লাস অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স যে সার্টিফিকেট বা ক্লাস অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স ইস্যুতে আমার রিকমেন্ডেশন লাগে। আপনার সার্টিফিকেট ইস্যু এগুলো আমার মাধ্যমে হয়। যেগুলো বলার, যেগুলো অলরেডি রিকমেন্ড দিয়ে দিয়েছি, কাজে যে যেটাই পরীক্ষা অংশগ্রহণ করেছেন, your ambition or your, I think, steps to sit for the exam, ওইভাবে প্রস্তুতি নেন। পরীক্ষার যে শিডিউল পাবেন সেখানে আধা ঘন্টা আগে কম্পিউটার বেসড এক্সাম আমাদের সিএ ভবনেই। রাজশাহীতে যারা রাজশাহীতে 10 জন মনে হয় হয়ে গেছে। কাজেই meanwhile who also met talk with me and go that those sequences এক্সাম থেকে ওনারা ইয়ে নিয়ে নেবেন। এক্সাম ডিভিশনে আন্ডারে পরীক্ষাটা হয়। What students matters সব কিছু, যেহেতু we are working here, আমরা ফাইনালাইজ করে পাঠিয়ে দিই, কিছু অসুবিধা নেই। এখন পরীক্ষা যে কয়েকটা সেন্টারে হবে, লন্ডনে একটা হয়, একটা চিটাগংয়ে হয়, একটা এখন রাজশাহীতে হবে, হয়তো ওখানে 12 থেকে 15 জন হচ্ছে, এরকম একটা ইয়ে পেলাম। রাজশাহীতে, চিটাগাং, রাজশাহী আর ঢাকা। ঢাকাটা কম্পিউটার বেসড এক্সাম, কাজে দেখে শুনে আসবেন। আর আসাটা যেন এক্সামের 1 ঘন্টা বা 45 মিনিটস আগে হলে ভালো হয়। ভিতরে আপনাকে আধা ঘন্টা প্রিপারেশনের জন্য দেওয়া হবে এক্সেস টাইম। এই জন্য এটা মাথায় রাখবো। তাহলে কি হবো উই উইল অলসো থিঙ্ক our timing to come or to reach at the exam hall on or before 1 hour 45 minutes আগে আসা যায়, চিন্তা অবশ্যই রাখবেন। কারণ কম্পিউটার ঠিক করতে হয়, ইয়ে করতে হয়, এগুলো নিজেতে আমাদের লোক থাকে, বাট আপনাকে কনফার্মেশন নিতে হয়। অ্যাডমিট কার্ড অবশ্যই পাবেন, নিয়ে আসবেন। দু একটা যদি ইয়ে না হয়, ইউ আর দেয়ার, আমরা থাকবো। আমার বেশি পরীক্ষা 1, 2, 3 এগুলো এডুকেশনের দিয়ে ডিপার্টমেন্টাল অ্যাক্টিভিটিস হয়। আর 7 এবং 9 লাইব্রেরিতে ইয়ে হবে, এগুলো সব আমাদের। যেটা বলার যে ইউ ডোন্ট নিড টু গেট ফার্দার টেনশন, to take your preparation and go to your own initiatives, that means steps. এই আর আরেকটা হচ্ছে শিডিউল, যেগুলো এই শুক্রবারে একটা শিডিউল দিলাম, এতে মন নাকশ হওয়ার কারণ নাই। এমনিতে সাবজেক্ট ওয়াইজ পরীক্ষা, যারা পারেন অ্যাটেন্ড করেন, করলে ভালো। ক্লাস শিডিউল রেখে ক্লাস শেষ করতে চাই না, এজন্য ফর দ্য গ্রেটার ইন্টারেস্ট অনেকে পরীক্ষাও দেবেন, এই জন্য সকালের একটা সেশন বেশি দিয়ে দিয়েছি। 23 তারিখের পরে আর শিডিউল হবে না, পরীক্ষার পরে কোনো ক্লাসও হয় না, এটা না যাওয়া ভালো। আরেকটা হচ্ছে পরে আমাদের নিউ ব্যাচের বিভিন্ন ইয়ে হবে, তখন আপনারা এমনিতেই ইউ উইল বি ইনভাইটেড। আমরা এখানে আছি না, যা বলবো তাই করবো, এই জন্য তখন আপনারা সময় সময় আমরা ডেকে নেব, কাজে নো রিস্ক, কোনো অসুবিধা। এই গেল। আর এখন যেটা হচ্ছে, যে সাবজেক্টে টিচার গুলো এনে দেবো, সব টিচারকে এনে দেবো, প্রত্যেকটা টিচারকে বলে দেবো আপনি সব নিয়ে নেন। কিছু এক্সেস ক্লাস হলে ভালো হয়, যেহেতু পরীক্ষার সামনে ওইভাবে দেওয়া যাবে না। তো যেটা বলার যে আপনারা ওইভাবে টিচারদের বলে দেবো, সব জেনে নেবেন পরীক্ষা দেওয়ার জন্য। যেমন 10টা শিডিউল দিয়ে রেখেছি, 10টাই কমপ্লিট হচ্ছে। আবার কি বলে, ট্যাক্সেশন অনেক শিডিউল হয়ে গেল আমাদের সদস্য সহ। এই জন্য আপনাদের যে টিচারই আসুক, প্লিজ অলসো টক টু গেট at length for the all sorts of his teachers preparation to you. তাহলে কি হলো, প্রত্যেক টিচার যে প্রিপারেশন নিয়ে আসবে, আপনি পরীক্ষার জন্য বিস্তারিত জেনে নেন, কারণ এক্সেস ক্লাস দেওয়ার সুযোগ নেই। আপনার নেক্সটে যারা আসতেছে দে উইল বি লাকি, ওনাদের পরীক্ষার পরে অগাস্ট, সেপ্টেম্বর, অক্টোবর, নভেম্বরে পরীক্ষা, 1 মাস সময় পাবে মিনিমাম। এই জন্য এক সেশন কিছুটা সময় পায়, আর এক সেশন টন টাইটে হয়। তবুও আমরা চেষ্টা করেছি ছুটি কমিয়ে, বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে তো আপনাদের যতদূর পারা যায়, কাজে এ বিষয়ে আই থিঙ্ক ইউ উইল টেক all the steps positively. এই জন্য তাহলে জাস্ট এটারে বলে যে শর্ট টার্ম করি অ্যান্ড রিভিউ। 4টা জিনিস বললাম, 25 তারিখেই পরীক্ষা হবে, কাজে এই বিষয়ে নিশ্চিত আপনারা হয়ে যান। উইল অলসো কনফার্ম বাই ইয়োরসেলফ। উপযুক্ত প্রিপারেশন ক্লাসটা আমরা হয়তো 23 পর্যন্তই যাব। দু একটা সেশন এক্সেস হলে গ্রেটার ইন্টারেস্টে নিয়ে নেবেন। আচ্ছা, থার্ড যেটা হলো অ্যাডমিট কার্ড, এগুলো যথাযথভাবে আপনার ইমেলে চলে যাবে, which the address you have written on admission of exam form, তারপরে ফর্ম ফিল আপ যখন করেছেন, ফর্মে যেটা লিখেছেন ওখানে আপনার কাছে চলে যাবে। আর আরেকটা হচ্ছে যে ওখানে নীতি নির্দেশনা যেগুলো দেওয়া থাকবে নেবেন, যেহেতু কম্পিউটার বেস এক্সাম, so you should have to try to reach 45 minutes before to start the exam or before starting the exam. এই জন্য 45 মিনিট আগে যেন এক্সাম হলে আসা যায়, আধা ঘন্টা হলে 15 মিনিট ধরেন একটু রিল্যাক্স থাকলেন। আর আমাদের ভেন্যু পর্যাপ্ত, কাজে আপনার অসুবিধা হবে না। তো এই আপাতত আর কথা নাই, আবার কথা বলবো হ্যাঁ পরে। আর এমনিতে কিছু বলার আছে কিনা ক্যাপ্টেনকে আমাদের ওয়ালিউল্লাহ নাকি ম্যাডাম সাদিয়া ম্যাডাম ক্যাপ্টেনকে?
মিস্টার জুয়েল রানা আছেন স্যার।
জুয়েল রানা জানি তো আসছে। হ্যাঁ থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাডাম। ছাত্রদের সাথে একটু কথা বলবো, কোনো অসুবিধা হলে কোনো ছাত্রদের কিছু ইয়ে হলে ইউ উইল অলসো কনভে টু আস। সেই জন্য আমাদের সাথে যোগাযোগ রাখবেন। আমরা কোনো ছাত্র যেন কোনো ধরনের অসুবিধা না থাকে হ্যাঁ বিফোর গোয়িং টু দ্য এক্সাম, যেন পরীক্ষায় যেতে পারে সেই হিসাবে সাজিয়ে রাখেন। আর কোনো ধরনের অনিশ্চয়তার কোনো স্কোপ সৃষ্টি হয়নি, হবে না, সুযোগও নাই। এখন একটু মন দিয়ে পড়ে, আর যেহেতু শেষ দিকের ক্লাস, try to also get vast learning from the teachers, from your better understanding. আপনারা টিচার যারাই যেটা আসুক বিস্তারিত, যেহেতু পরীক্ষা দিতে হবে, অনেক তো ক্লাস হয়ে গেল, অনেক শিডিউল শেষ হয়ে গেছে, এই জন্য আশা করা যায় যে আমরা ইনশাল্লাহ সব শিডিউল শেষ করে ফেলবো। আর যে একটা সেশন বেশি হলে মেনে নেন, for the smooth completion of your course and better understanding। জন্য সকালে একটা সেশন বেশি দিয়েছি, অর্থাৎ সকালে এটা এই। আর আরেকটা হচ্ছে যেটা যে একটু লেখাপড়া করেন, স্যারদের সাথে প্রাণ খুলে মন খুলে কথা বলেন, কারণ সব টিচারকে আমরা অলরেডি বলে দিয়েছি যে প্লিজ স্যার অলসো serve or to provide of you all the required learning for the students on rest on basis। আপনার অবশিষ্ট যদি কোনো কিছু থাকে আপনারা সব কিছু ছাত্রদের জানিয়ে দেন, কারণ সবাই পরীক্ষা দিবেন। হ্যাঁ এই জন্য ইউ নো and what steps we are taking fully understood by yourself। কাজে আমরা কি করি না করি সকলেই আপনারা জানেন, সব আপনাদের জন্য, কাজে অসুবিধা নাই কোনো। আবার বলি কোনো সমস্যা কোনো কিছু মেল করবেন। আর আরেকটা হচ্ছে ক্যাপ্টেনের সাথে যোগাযোগ রাখবেন। তো থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। আর আমাদের আইডি কার্ড এগুলো হয়তো আপনারা ধরেন 20 তারিখের আগে পাবেনই, আন্ডার প্রসেসিং এন্ড দ্য ফাইনাস্ট সিচুয়েশন, একদম ফাইনাল সিচুয়েশন আছে, কাজেই হয়তো রবি সোমবারের ভিতরে এসব হয়ে যাবে। আর আমরা তো আছি, ক্লাস তো চলবে 22-23 তারিখ পর্যন্ত, তখন আমরা এসে আবার কথা সোহেল রানা কিছু বলার আছে ভাই? Have you anything to say, সোহেল রানা?
জুয়েল রানা ভাই আপনি কথা বলেন, স্যার তো আপনাকে ডাকছে।
একটু কিছু বলার আছে আমাকে বা ছাত্রদের কোনো কিছু ইস্যু, এনি ম্যাটার? ওগুলা একটু ইয়েতে আছে, ট্রাভেলে আমার ধারণা।
না স্যার সমস্যা নেই স্যার। আর
আচ্ছা
কোন স্টুডেন্ট এ পর্যন্ত কোনো প্রকার হয়তো মানে ওনারা সবকিছু ইনফরমেশন জানেনি, এই জন্য আর আমাকে এক্সট্রা ভাবে আর এফোর্ট দিতে হচ্ছে না।
থ্যাংক ইউ, আই নো ইউ আর ভেরি ডাইনামিক এন্ড টেকিং প্রপার স্টেপ টু দ্য স্টুডেন্ট। এখানে সোহেল রানা, ওখানে আর স্পেশালি সাদিয়া ম্যাডামকে ধন্যবাদ। হ্যাঁ ম্যাডাম একবার আগে আসেন। ইয়া
স্যার শাকিরা বলছি। জি স্যার, স্যার আমাকে একজন ইনফর্ম করেছিল যে ওনার হচ্ছে ইনফরমেশন নাকি ভুল আছে, যে মাদার্স নেমটা একটু অন্য আসছে, এগুলা কি করে ঠিক করা যাবে এটা বলেছিল আমাকে স্যার।
কোনটা ইয়ে আই ক্যান নট
যে
টোটালি পে ইয়ার ইওর ওয়ার্ড, আবার বলি
যে স্টুডেন্ট আইডিতে ওইখানে যে অনলাইনে যে ইনফরমেশন গুলো দেয়া আছে ওখানে নাকি মাদার্স নামটা এবং ফাদার্স নেম একটু মানে ভুল আছে, এটা কি কি করে ঠিক করবে এটা জিজ্ঞেস করেছিল।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, এখানে আপাতত যেটা হোয়াট ইউ হ্যাভ রিটেন ওকে এটাই থাক। আর এটা যখন ফাইনাল ইয়ে হবে আপনার এক্সাম, টু বে কমিউনিকেট উইথ আস ওকে। আমাদের এক্সাম সেশনে রেজিস্ট্রেশন সেশন আছে আমার আন্ডারে, এটা রেজিস্ট্রেশনে ঠিক করতে হবে, এক্সামকে প্রোভাইড করে দিব। তো আপাতত ইয়ে আমাদের শাকিলা, যদি আমার ধারণা যেহেতু এটা অ্যাকসেপ্ট করে নিয়েছে এখন আপাতত থাক, বাট ইউ শুড হ্যাভ টু অলসো correct spelling or proper name of your respected parents। এই জন্য এখানে শাকিলার দরকার বা প্রয়োজন হবে, উচিত হবে যে আমাদের কাছে এসে রেজিস্ট্রেশন কার্ডের নামটা ঠিক করে দেবে। এটা আমার আন্ডারে, কাজে নো টেনশন নো রিস্ক। আর এটা করে আপনার এই পরীক্ষা শাখা পাঠিয়ে দিন, নো ইস্যু, এনি প্রবলেম, উই আর হিয়ার। হ্যাঁ এই গেল। আর আমার মনে হয় আমাদের সিও স্যার চলে আসছেন বা আসবেন, আমরা 40-এ স্যারকে রিকোয়েস্ট করবো আর 2-1 মিনিট ইয়ে করে আর মন দিয়ে শুনে নেন। আর স্যারকেও আমি অলরেডি বলছি আর আরেকদিন আর স্যারকে আনবো এই সেশনে বিফোর এক্সাম। এই জন্য ট্যাক্সের রেগুলার সেশনে ইভেন কোনো ম্যাটার থাকলে, যেমন ট্যাক্সেশনটা অত্যন্ত সুন্দরভাবে আপনারা ক্লাস করতেছেন, এটা যেটা একবারই ফার্স্ট সিটিং এ পাস হয়ে যায় ইনশাল্লাহ হবে। ব্যাপক তো নলেজ হয়ে গেল এটা। দিস আই থিঙ্ক পেজ অলসো হেল্প ইউ টু কমপ্লিট দ্য প্রফেশনাল লেভেল ট্যাক্স প্ল্যানিং অ্যান্ড কমপ্লায়েন্স। ওখানে দেখবেন এটা অনেক আপনার কিছু জানা হয়ে গেল। এবং এন্ট্রি লেভেল, এটা তো নলেজ লেভেল বলে, এখানে আপনার অনেক কিছু জেনে গেলেন যেটা আপনার এইটার পাস করতেও সুবিধা হবে। আপনি যে কতগুলো কোর্স করলেন, ট্যাক্সেশনটা স্পেশালাইজড সেশন হয়ে গেল। এই জন্য অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইউ আর লাকি। I think honestly or humbly thankful to our honorable CEO sir. CEO sir আমাদের সদ্য প্রধান নির্বাহী স্যার, আমাদের বোস স্যার ওই ক্লাস দিয়েছেন অনেক কষ্ট করে ক্লাসগুলো, সারাদিন চাকরি করে তারপর দেখিয়ে করে মানুষ। এই জন্য আজকে পাচ্ছেন, একদিন পাবেন। স্যার আসলে স্যারের সাথে আপনারা কথা বলবেন, লাস্ট দিনে স্যারকে ধন্যবাদ দিবেন। আমি থাকবো, অসুবিধা নাই। আলহামদুলিল্লাহ একটু মনে হয় হালকা বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে আমার এদিকে। আমি তো মতিঝিলে, এদিকে দেখছি একটু আমার জানলার পাশে বৃষ্টি হয়। খুব গরম ছিল, তো স্রষ্টার রহমত হচ্ছে। বাবদাহ বলে ফিটিং হট সামার। এই জন্য আষাঢ় মাসের আজকে মনে হয় 30, কালকে শ্রাবণ প্রথম। আমরা তো ভুলেই যাই বাংলা তারিখ। তো মনে হয় আল্লাহ রহম হচ্ছে, হোক সারা দেশে হোক, সব জায়গায় হোক, সারা বিশ্ব হোক। এই গেল। আর থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। আর একটু সেশনটা রেসপন্সিভ করব। আমাদের শাহিদা ম্যাডাম আছেন, জুয়েল রানা, তারপরে আমাদের শাকিলা সহ সবাই, নাসির, গোলাম কিবরিয়া, মাহমুদ, জোকাইন বাবু, জোকাইন বিশ্বাস বাবু, সবাই কথা বলবো, সামিরা, সরব বলে ক্লাসটা আমরা ইয়ে করবো। সিনপসিসটা সামনে রাখি, সিনপসিসটা সামনে নিয়ে আমরা ক্লাস চালু করবো। আর আবারও বলি যে দিস ইজ ভেরি ইফেক্টিভ সেশন, হেল্পফুল সেশন। যে ইউ শুড হ্যাভ টু ট্রাই অলসো মেক ইট রেসপন্সিভ এন্ড মোর বেস্ট রেসপন্সিভ। যত আপনি এটাতে রেসপন্স করবেন, মানে টু দ্য পয়েন্ট, অন ভিউজ টু দ্য কন্টেন্ট, তত আপনার জন্য হেল্পফুল হবে। তো মে আল্লাহ হেল্প আস। আল্লাহ সকলকে ভালো রাখুক। আর ভালো করে লেখাপড়া করি, 1 সপ্তাহ আছে, আমরা ভালো করে প্রিপারেশন নিব। আর স্যার যারা আসবেন আন্তরিক হয়ে সব জেনে নেবেন। আর আমরা অলরেডি বলে দিছি, আবার বলে দেব। আর আজকে 5th রাউন্ড হবে আমাদের ট্যাক্সেশনের ক্লাসটা, যে সিনপসিসটা পাঠিয়েছি এটা একটু ভালো করে দেখে নেন। আর একদিন স্যারকে আমরা রিকোয়েস্ট করব লাস্ট সেশন, দ্যাট উইল বি দ্য লাস্ট সেশন অফ দিস কোর্স, কনক্লুশন সেশন, অথবা এটারে ক্লোজিং সেশন বলা যায়। এই জন্য আমরা সেদিন আবার থাকবো। তো থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ ফর ইউর জয়নিং। আর আমি মনে হয় স্যারের হ্যান্ড ওভার করে ফেলি, স্যারকে দিয়ে আমি বিদায় নেব। অলরেডি 3:39 and I also say before you that I will hand over 3:40, 3:40 কে স্যারকে ছেড়ে দেব। তো আল্লাহ হাফেজ। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
ওকে স্যার, আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
Thank you sir. I am your Halim sir, and may I request sir, you may come in videos and just to start your valuable session, sir, please. Adab, sir. Thank you, sir. We are also seeing you, and you may kindly start the session. Today, actually, it is 5th round, and students are known. Specific synopsis has been given before 2 days, and they are under preparation, and it will no problem, inshallah. May you can continue the session, and thank you very much, sir. দয়া করে আপনি শুরু করুন। আর সকলকে আবারও যে মন দিয়ে ক্লাস করি আর সেশনটা রেসপন্স করি, প্রয়োজনে যদি হয় আপনি বাংলায় বলেন, স্যার উইল অলসো কভার, নো প্রবলেম। স্যার প্লিজ কন্টিনিউ স্যার। আদাব স্যার, শুরু করেন স্যার কাইন্ডলি। স্যার শুরু করেন প্লিজ স্যার।
I start.
Yes sir, please.
Okay, so you have finished.
Yes sir, I have already finished. You may kindly start please sir.
Okay, thank you. Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this session. I had some other sessions with you before, so this session I would be discussing in some question answers, etc. And I think the handout has been given to you through the student counseling department. I hope you have gone through the synopsis. And if you have already gone through it, then you have understood what the questions are. And we discuss first the questions, then we try to answer those questions. If you go through the handout, you will see the first question is, what is the equality of sacrifice theory? How equity could be ensured by formulating a policy by the government of a particular country? Two questions are here. Number one is what is the equality of sacrifice theory, and number two is how equity could be ensured by formulating a policy by a government of a particular country. So I understand that you learned about the principles of good taxation. That is how to formulate a policy for realizing taxation and how to ensure the implementation of the principles. If you can remember well, then the principles are also called maxims. So these are some of the best practices or some of the principles introduced by economists more than 200 years ago. And one of the economists is Mr. Adam Smith. You must have heard of him. Adam Smith was the economist who introduced the principles of a good taxation system of a particular country. He was an economist of Scotland. It is part of UK now, and it was also part of UK before, but he was from Scotland. That's why he is known as a Scottish economist, and he won the Nobel Prize for economics. So in 1789, he wrote a book titled An Enquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. So that book actually gave us ideas about the principles of a good taxation system. These are actually called founding principles, because based on his principles, the other economists developed some other principles, but those principles are not the founding principles. So everybody actually followed, every country, each and every country followed the principles laid down by Mr. Adam Smith. Sometimes these principles are called Smithian principles or Smithian maxims. So one of the principles is that you have to ensure equity, principle of equity. So this question, what is said here in question number 1, equality of sacrifice theory, it comes from the theory of equity, that is the principle of equity. What is equity? In general terms, you can say that equity means everybody has to pay taxes at the same rate. That means irrespective of the income, or irrespective of the quantum of income we have, we can pay taxes at the same rate. That means, say, for example, the tax rate is 20% in all cases. If I have income of taka 1,000, I have to pay taxes at the rate of 20%. And if you have income of taka 2 lakhs, then you have to pay taxes at the rate of 20% as well. If it is like that, then it is called theory of equity, principle of equity, etc. Actually, it is not that. Similar rate of taxation applying to everybody does not mean that it is the principle of equity. Rather, the principle of equity is that whenever your income increases, your rate of tax will be higher. If your income decreases, your rate of tax will be lower. That is the principle of equity. But here there is a question: equality of sacrifice theory. What is equality of sacrifice theory? So you have to apply the rate in such a way so that the sacrifice means the payment of taxes. The sacrifice is appropriate for a particular person. For example, if you have an income of taka 500, 10%, you are paying taxes taka 50. At taka 50, 10% on 500 means you are paying taxes at taka 50. And if I have income of 10,000, and if the rate is similar here, then I will be paying taxes at the rate of 10% on taka 10,000, which is taka 1,000. And you have paid taxes at taka 50, I have paid taxes at taka 1,000. But our incomes are different. My income is 10,000, your income is 500. So when you are paying taka 50 out of taka 500, it is hard on your part to pay taka 50. But when I am paying taka 1,000 out of 10,000, it's not very difficult on my part to pay that amount. So, rate of taxation is similar in both cases. Equality of sacrifice theory is that these two cases, what I have cited before you, sacrifice is not the same. Sacrifice is different. So we have to make sure that the sacrifice in case of an individual has to be appropriate. Meaning that if the person who has 500 taka paying taxes at 10%, it is okay if it is 10% in his case. But when the person who has got 10,000 taka, in his case, the rate of tax should not be 10%. It should be much more because he has got higher income. So on 10,000 taka, the rate could be 25% or could be 30%. If it is 25%, then 2,500 taka has to be paid by him as tax. And then his disposable income will be 7,500 taka. Or if it is 30%, then his disposable income would be 7,000 taka. So percent. So
Net কি আমার slow?
The ability of that person to sacrifice a larger amount of money as such. So when disposable income, we have the difference between the two disposable incomes should be narrowed down to some extent, of course. Because when the person concerned, he had 500 taka and paid tax at the rate of 10%, his disposable income was taka 450. And when the person who has 10,000 taka paying taxes at the rate of 10%, his disposable income is 9,000 taka. But whenever he is paying taxes at the rate of 30%, his disposable income is 7,000 taka. So 450 taka and 7,000 taka, and 450 taka and 9,000 taka. So you see the difference between the two. So disposable income has to be narrowed down. So whenever we want to make sure that equity has to prevail in the society, in that case, the people who are earning more have to pay taxes at a higher rate. That is the principle of equity. Those principles stating that introduce this theory in every country in order to ensure the principle of equity. This is the answer to question number 1. I hope you have understood it. If you not, then you can ask me a question if you want to.
Yes, sir.
There is no question, then we move to question number 2. Question number 2. Minor boy has been admitted to the benefits of partnership, whether this is legal from the viewpoint of or not. Partnership, you know very well, it's a type of business. We have got sole tradership business, we have got partnership business, and we have got company. So for sole tradership business, there is no act or ordinance. For partnership business, there is an act which is called Partnership Act 1932. Partnership Act is regulated by the Partnership Act introduced in the British regime. So we are regulated and guided.
আপনাকে ক্লিয়ারলি শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
The partnership is the relationship between the persons who have agreed to share the profits of the business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. That means there are partners in a partnership firm, and the number of partners should be at 2, and maximum number should be 20 persons. That means if there are 2 partners in a firm, so this is the relationship between the 2 persons. If it is more than that, that means if there are 4 persons in the firm, it is the relationship among the 4 persons. And anyone can administer the firm. Anyone can act on behalf of all other partners. That is possible. Or all the partners can also take part in the administration or in administering or management of the partnership firm. That is also possible. So the income tax ordinance 1984 what it says. You have to go to the definition given by the Income Tax Ordinance 1984. So if you go to the definition chapter, the chapter is 2, number 2. So you will find all the definitions in section 2. So section 2, subsection 48. If you read that subsection, you will understand what has been said there. So if you have the income tax ordinance with you, you can look at it. That would be better. So this section 243, not 48, sorry. It's subsection 43 of section 2. Here it is said, partner has the same meaning as assigned to it in the Partnership Act 1932 and includes a person who, being a minor, has been admitted to the benefits of partnership. So, 1942 Partnership Act, that actually says about the partnership. But as for income tax ordinance, it includes a person who, being a minor, he can also be admitted to the benefits of the partnership. So if somebody is there as a partner who is the minor, not attained the majority, in that case also he could be treated as a partner. So that's why from the legal point of view, you can say that it is lawful. It's not illegal. So whenever there is a partner who is minor, he could also get the benefits of the partnership, and it would be accepted by the Income Tax Ordinance 1984, and the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes would also accept it while assessing the income of the partnership fund, and that would be a distribution of the profits among all the partners as per the ratio given in the Partnership Act. That is the answer. That is lawful. It is not illegal. So a minor could be admitted to the benefits of the partnership. And question number 3, let us move to that. A government servant after his retirement received from Provident Fund an amount of 1 crore, including interest accrued thereof. But this amount is higher than the total contributions made by him and interest accrued thereof. What could be the legal treatment under the Income Tax Ordinance 1984? What is said here, generally you know that while you are in the company, you have a provident fund. You have a provident fund, and also it is applicable in government services. Whenever you are in the government service, you will contribute to the provident fund, but there is a difference between the two. That means when a provident fund is formed in a company, it might be different from what it is in the government service. Because while you are a government servant, you are contributing to the provident fund, but government is not contributing to your fund. Only you have to contribute to the fund. And an interest at a certain rate would be accrued on that fund. It's sometimes 12.5% or sometimes 13%, sometimes 14%, whatever it is. So it is decided by the government from time to time. That is the final division of the Minister of Finance. They decide what would be the rate. So what does it mean? It means that you are contributing every month from your salary to the the provident fund, maybe at the rate of 8.3%, or it could be 10%, whatever it is. It should also be decided by the government, and interest will be accrued thereon. So you are contributing throughout your career in the government, and at the time of your retirement, you will be receiving the amount that you have contributed and whatever interest you have gained out of that. No government contribution is there, but the amount you will be getting from the fund is equivalent to the amount you have contributed and the interest accrued thereon up to the last days of your employment. But here the question says that you have received 1 crore taka from the provident fund, but it does not contain the amount of contribution and the interest accrued thereon. It contains that amount, but it is more than what you have contributed to the provident fund plus the interest accrued thereon. So whatever you have received from the fund is a higher amount, which is not equivalent to the amount of your contribution and interest accrued thereon. So let us suppose that you received 1 crore taka, it has been said here, but actually your contribution and interest accrued thereon is taka 90 lakhs, not more than that. I haven't put it here, but it could be put here. So actual contribution plus the interest accrued thereon is 90 lakhs of taka. So you have received 1 crore taka. So you have received 10 lakhs of taka higher than. So this 10 lakh taka is not part of your contribution plus interest accrued. So what should be the treatment of that amount? It has been asked here. So you have to decide what should be the legal treatment of that 10 lakhs of taka by the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, because Deputy Commissioner of say that you have received 1 crore taka, but whenever they will find the statement will say that it is 90 lakhs taka total of contribution and interest. So there is a difference between the two of 10 lakhs taka. So then the city will ask for an explanation from you why you have received 1 crore taka, whereas you are entitled to 90 lakhs of taka. So since you have received it from the government, so the government has given you an extra benefit for some reasons or other. And in that case, this will be treated as your income. Actually, receipt from provident fund is exempt from tax. You are not paying taxes on that. Whatever interest you have received, it is not taxable. But when you have received a higher amount of money, as I gave you the example here. So this 10 lakh taka, that should be treated as an income on your part, and the city will assess it to income. So what the city will do, what will he call it, or what will he treat it as?
এটা কি ইনকাম ফ্রম আদার সোর্সে যাবে?
Yes.
স্যার এই অ্যামাউন্টটা যে 1 crore সে রিসিভ করছে, কিন্তু তার অ্যাবসলিউট রিকগনাইজড প্রভিডেন্ট ফান্ড প্লাস ইন্টারেস্ট হচ্ছে 90 লাখ, তাহলে এই 10 লাখ টাকা কি তার ইনকাম ফ্রম আদার সোর্সে কাউন্ট করবে কিনা?
So first of all, you have to go to section 2, subsection 50. Section 2, subsection 50. What is said there? there is a definition given in that subsection. The definition is profit in lieu of salary. Profit in lieu of salary. Section 2, subsection 50. So let us see what is said there. This is section 250. Profit in lieu of salary includes amount of compensation due to or received by an associate from his employer at or in connection with the termination of or the modification of any terms and conditions relating to his employment, and any payment due to or received by an associate from a or other fund, to the extent to which it does not and for that reason you have been given a compensation money. If you have been given a compensation money from the employer, it will be treated
স্যার একেবারে ক্লিয়ারলি আসছে না, এত
profit in lieu of
কিছু শোনা যায় না।
and then if you have received an amount from the provident fund or other fund which does not consist of the contributions made by you and the interest accrued thereon. So this 10 lakh taka, this is not part of the contribution you have made to the provident fund and the interest accrued thereon. So this 10 lakh taka would be treated as profit in lieu of salary under section 2, subsection 50. So that would be treated as income and it will be taxed by the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes. So that is the answer. Then we can move to the next question. Mr. X is a foreign citizen. He is staying in Bangladesh for business purposes. Can he be a resident of Bangladesh? If so, under which circumstances? Mr. X is a foreign citizen. That means he is from the, say, for example, UK. He has been staying here in Bangladesh for business purposes. Whether he could be treated as a resident of Bangladesh or not. So you must know the
Yes, it's if certain days
these are
স্যার কি ক্লিয়ার শোনা যাচ্ছে?
please. Just
Only
speak
that's
a bit
Sir.
loud.
No, sir, it's not about your voice. Your means the probably it's internet issue. Your voice is breaking up.
Problem with the system, I do not. Can you hear me well?
স্যার মাঝে মধ্যে স্যার ডিস্টার্ব করতেছে, একদম শোনা যায় না।
At times we cannot hear, but mostly we can hear.
Okay, let me check whether system is performing well or not. Okay, now tell me what you wanted to tell. Anything important question or
Sir, we couldn't hear you there. Now it is clear, sir.
sound is clear?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. All right, then the question we were discussing was Mr. X is a foreign citizen. He is staying in Bangladesh for business purposes. Can he be a resident of Bangladesh? If so, under which circumstances? So that is the question. So Mr. X, as I have told you, that maybe he is from the UK, staying in Bangladesh for business purposes. So whether he would be the citizen of Bangladesh or he would be the resident of Bangladesh, what is possible for him? Only thing possible for him is that he could become a resident of Bangladesh under the Income Tax Ordinance 1984. Because irrespective of a person being a domicile or for a national could become a resident. It depends on the period of stay of the person in Bangladesh. So if you look at section 255, that is definition section 2 and subsection 55. There, the resident SSC has been defined. That means an individual who has been staying in Bangladesh in an income year for a period of, or for periods amounting in all to 182 days or more. This is the first condition. That means an SSC, being an individual, has been in Bangladesh in the income year for a period of, or for periods amounting in all to 182 days or more. So the terminologies have to be very clear to you. For a period of, that means at a stretch. If you can stay there at a stretch for 182 days, that is sufficient for you. Or if it is more than 182 days, it's very fine. Or for periods amounting in all, that means you can stay in Bangladesh in the income year in different phases. That means you are here for 30 days first. You have gone away after staying here for 30 days. And again, you have come back. You stayed here for 2 months. And again, you have gone away. And afterwards, again, you have come back. And that's why it has been said, for a period of, or for periods amounting in all to 182 days. So if you stay here in phases, but the amount of the period of stay is 182 days or more, that could also give you the opportunity of becoming a resident. That is also possible. Otherwise, another condition prevails here. The other condition is that if you stay in Bangladesh in an income year for a period of, or for periods amounting in all to 90 days or more, having previously been in Bangladesh for a period of 365 days or more during the 4 years preceding the income year. So if you stay in an income year, particular income year for 90 days or more, having previously been in Bangladesh, that means if you had stayed in Bangladesh for 365 days during 4 years preceding that income year, in that case also 365 days plus 90 days. So in 5 years time, if you have stayed this period of days in Bangladesh, you have stayed for that period 365 plus 90. In that case also, you will become a resident. So the question of citizenship and residence is different. You can become a citizen of a particular country, but you can be a resident of Bangladesh. And the citizenship is determined by the government through the Ministry of Home. The Ministry of Home Affairs, they actually decide who can become a citizen of Bangladesh under certain circumstances or conditions, etc. So this is a question of immigration, but residence or to become a resident as per income tax ordinance is different. So this is depending on the period of stay of a particular person in Bangladesh. So that is the answer. So answer is that Mr. X is a foreign citizen and he can be a resident of Bangladesh. There is no problem with that. But he has to fulfill the condition of staying here for a minimum period of 182 days in an income year, or he can stay in Bangladesh in an income year for 90 days, having previously been in Bangladesh for 365 days during the 4 years preceding that income year. So these are the conditions you have to incorporate in your answer. If you say like that, then your answer is correct. Okay, then. If you are okay with that, then we move to question number 5.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question number 5 says the last salary of Mr. X was 82,000 per month, which was basic salary, of course. Mr. X was a government servant. At the time of his retirement, what would be the amount of gratuity he would be receiving from the government? And what amount of gratuity is exempted from the payment of taxes? What would be his pension money per month? So these are the questions which have been asked in question number 5. So you have been given some clues here. Mr. X is a government servant and he has completed his tenure of service in the government. And his last basic salary was 82,000. So last basic salary should be considered in calculating the gratuity money and the pension money. So gratuity money is given in recognition of his service to the government throughout his career. So this is a one-time payment. And the person concerned would receive that amount and he can invest that amount in any instrument or shares, securities, FDR, etc., whatever he wants to. And the pension money that he's entitled to receiving from the government would be paid every month. That means this is like a salary. He would be receiving the pension money at a certain rate. Certain rate means it will be determined by the government. And the pension money is always exempted from tax, but the gratuity money is exempted, but up to a certain limit. Not any amount of money, whatever you want to receive from the government. So you have to calculate the gratuity money and the pension money first. You have to take into account the last basic salary, which is 82,000 taka. You just calculate 90% of this amount first. 90% of this amount. What is the 90% of this amount? 82,000 taka.
73,800 taka.
73,800 taka. Okay, good. So that is 90% of 82,000. Now, this 73,800 taka, you divide it into two parts. That means you divide it by 2. How much?
36,900.
36,900 taka. So this 36,900 taka is the monthly pension money of the government servant. So in addition to this, the government servant would be entitled to 1,500 taka as medical allowance. So that would be the figure he would be drawing per month. But afterwards means after 1 year or on the 1st day of July, generally on the 1st day of July, an increment is given to the government servant, that is for inflation purposes. So 5% is actually added to that amount. But initially 36,900 taka is the basic salary he will be receiving. That is the pension money he would be receiving from the government, but medical allowance will be added to that. Part of the answer is that. And again, the another 36,900 taka, which it has remained in your hand. And that's 36,900 taka is to be multiplied by 230. Because this is the one-time payment the government will be making to you. So you are sacrificing 1 taka, government will pay you 230 taka. So how much you are sacrificing? 36,900 taka. And for that, the government will be paying you 36,900 times 230. So how much is the figure? What is the figure?
lakh 87,000.
Yes, 84 lakhs 87,000. That is the figure, and that is the figure you will be receiving one time. So that is once for all. You receive that amount, and that is your gratuity money, and government will not pay you any more gratuity money in future. So you can invest this amount in buying shares, in buying securities, in buying government instruments, or you can put it in the FDR, whatever you want to. So government is not concerned about that. It is your concern. So government has given you some chance to buy, government instruments like the pension saving certificate. You can buy pension saving certificate with that amount. That is possible, and you will be receiving a better amount of interest on that. And also you can buy family Sanchaya Patra, which is to be bought by your wife or your daughter, because this is for females. So you can just buy a family Sanchaya Patra in the name of your spouse, and you will also earn a better amount of interest. Okay, so this is the figure you have calculated, and that you would invest in some instruments. So if somebody comes to you and seeks your advice as a chartered accountant, so he comes to you and seeks your advice what to buy for the gratuity money. So you can advise him what to buy. Definitely you will advise him to buy something which is little bit, I think, risk-free. So when you advise him to buy the pension saving certificate or the family Sanchaya Patra, definitely they are risk-free. So that's why you can advise him accordingly. Or you can ask him to invest in 3 monthly Sanchaya Patra, 3 monthly profit sharing Sanchaya Patra. That is also possible. That is also government and risk-free. So that's why these are the suggestions you can give to the client coming to you for advice when you practice as a chartered accountant. Okay. When they
review করলে ভালো হবে স্যার, এটা আরেকবার রিভিউ করলে স্যার উপকৃত হব। এটা 5 নাম্বার
or একবার?
জি স্যার।
Okay, no problem. All right, then, as I said to you, the last salary of a government servant, since the government servant is going into retirement, you have to consider the last salary he has drawn. That is the salary he has drawn in the last month of his career. So for example, the government servant retires in the month of December 1. So the last salary would be for the month of November. So you have to see what amount of salary he has actually earned or received from the government for the month of November. That is the basic salary for the whole month. So let us suppose the basic salary is 82,000 taka, but he had got other allowances. You do not take them into account. No need. So first of all, 82,000 taka, you find out 90% of that amount. So 90% of 82,000 taka, you have calculated already. And the calculation is 70. 3,800 taka. So that is the figure you have arrived at, which is 90% of 82,000 taka. So this 73,800 taka, you should divide it by 2. Why you should divide it by 2? Because part of it will be pension money and part of it will be gratuity money. So that's why. So when you divide 800 by 2, you get 36,900. So this 36,900 you have got in two hands. In one hand, you have got 36,900. In another hand, you have got 36,900. So 36,900 will be your pension money per month. You will be receiving that amount every month, as long as you are alive. And after you die, your wife would be receiving that amount. So 36,900 you will be getting as your pension money, plus in addition to that, this will be the figure of pension money. But in every year you will be receiving an increment of 5% as inflation. So 36,900 plus 1,500, so something like how much is the figure? 37,900 plus 500, 38,400. That is the figure you will be receiving per month. But in 1 year, you will also receive 5% as increment. So 38,400 plus 3,840, half of it, 1,920. So 38,400 plus 1,920. This is the total figure you will be receiving in 1 year, when increment will be added to your salary. So that's the calculation to be made by the accounts department of the government, but you will be receiving that amount of money. However, 36,900 is the pension money that you have to calculate here. So that would be figure 96,900, which is in your another hand. That has to be transformed into gratuity money. How to transform it into gratuity money? You have to multiply this 36,900 by here, you will receive 84 lakhs, 87,000 taka. In exchange of taka, 36,900. So that amount of money would be received by you at a time and once for all. That means you will never receive that amount afterwards. Once you get it, that's the figure. And you can invest that amount of money. Yes.
Sir, gratuity moneyটা একটু বলবেন?
Gratuity, it is in recognition of your service to the government, because you have served the government maybe for 35 years or 36 years, whatever it is. And as a recognition to your service, the government is paying you that amount of money. And we have calculated it from the basic salary. First of all, we have calculated 90% of the basic salary, and we got 73,800. and we divided 73,800 into two parts. That means we divided it by 2. So we got 36,900. 36,900 is the pension money. That is per month pension money. You will be receiving every month and until you die. But even if you die, your spouse will be getting that. Okay. Then another 36,900, which is not your pension money. That is your gratuity money. So what would be the calculation of the gratuity money? You have to multiply this 36,900 by 230. That means you are sacrificing 36,900. So if you sacrifice 1 taka, government will pay you taka to 36,900. Government will pay you 84 lakhs, 87,000. So that is the figure you will be receiving one time, and it is once for all. That means you cannot get it again in your lifetime. So by getting that, you can invest that money in different instruments, securities, shares, or you can even invest in FDR, whatever you want to. But the government servants should be advised to invest in government securities, which are risk-free. So if they invest in government securities, that would be better for them. They can have a better amount of interest out of that investment. And this is risk-free, or these are risk-free. Pension money. And again, you have been asked one question, whether gratuity money would be exempted from tax. Yes, gratuity money would be exempted from tax up to 2 crores 50 lakhs. If you receive gratuity money from the government up to 2 crores 50 lakhs, then it will be exempted from tax. If it's 2 crores 50 lakhs, then the amount exceeding that figure would be assessed to tax. If you receive 3 crores from the government as gratuity money, then 50 lakhs taka would be assessed to tax. But 2 crores 50 lakhs would not be assessed to tax because this is exempted.
Sir,
Yes.
as a pension money, I have said that as long as the employee will alive, he will receive, and after he dead, his spouse will receive the money. And how long it will continue?
Unless he or she dies.
Okay. And second question is 230 for gratuity money. Is it fixed by government for all employees?
Yes, it is fixed by the government.
Thank you.
It is fixed by the government. So this figure cannot be changed. You have to just take into account that amount only, not more than that, not less than that.
যদি পেনশন মানিটা এককালীন নিয়ে ফেলতে চাই তখন কি হবে?
Sorry?
পেনশন মানিটা যদি এককালীন রিটায়ারমেন্ট যখন করছে তখনই নিয়ে ফেলতে চাই।
No, he cannot. He cannot.
পারবে না স্যার?
No, not allowed.
আচ্ছা স্যার।
So you have to take the pension money.
স্যার আর ইনক্রিমেন্ট যেটা 5% ইনক্রিমেন্ট পার ইয়ার, এটা কি প্রতি ইয়ার পর মান্থলি সেটা যোগ হবে?
Increment will be added once in a year. So generally on the 1st day of July. So from the 1st day of July, 5% increment will be added to the existing figure. So it will continue. Again, in another July, you will get another increment. But if the increment changes, that means if the government thinks that, okay, inflation rate is much higher nowadays, so we just change this to 6% or 7%, then you will be getting accordingly. So it will depend on the decision of the government. And again, you can have some other benefits. Say there is a pay scale, new pay scale. So whenever a new pay scale is declared by the government, in that case, your pension money will also be changed. They'll give a decision with regard to the change of your pension money, because the scale you are retirement, and a new employee who is in your position now will be getting the salary at a much higher scale. So that's why your pension money will also be revised. The decision will be taken by the government, but there is no fixed rule, but the decision will be given in the pay scale. Whenever the pay scale is declared, so the decision with regard to that will be given. So your salary will also be changed. Pension money will be changed.
যদি ওয়াইফ না থাকে, ওয়াইফ যদি না থাকে তখন কি হবে স্যার ট্রিটমেন্টটা?
Okay, because this is actually done from a different perspective. Why? Whenever you die, and if your wife is alive, it means that she needs some support. If you do not have children, who will support her? Even if you have children, the children may not support her. So that's why this provision has been made by the government. And also, as you said before, that you wanted to take the pension money at the time of retirement, it is not possible, because government has decided that sometimes people who take the pension money at a time, they invest in some sectors where they lose their money. So these are actually bad investments. And if you lose the money, then is there any chance that you can recover it? And how to support yourself? There is nothing to support yourself. You may not have any paternal property, or you may not have children who are supporting you. So that's why, how can you survive? So that's why the pension money is a must. You have to take that pension money every month, and there is the support you can get. Is it okay for you?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, if employee is the female, then her husband will get the same benefit like a male employee?
Yes, spouse. Spouse means if you are a male, your wife will be getting the benefit. And if you are a female, then your husband will be getting the same benefit. Similar thing. Okay, then we move to question number 6. A trader entered into a contract with a farmer of Uzbekistan to supply cotton. The trader entered into this contract in order to guard against loss through future price fluctuations for the purpose of fulfilling his contract to supply RMG, that means ready-made garments, to the EU, means European Union. Is it a speculation business? First of all, you have to know what a speculation business is. What is a speculation business? What do you understand by speculation business?
স্যার, ফটকা ব্যবসা, যে আমি কোনো একটা সামথিং প্রোডাক্ট কিনে রাখছি, যে দাম যখন বাড়ে তখন আমি সেটা বিক্রি করে দেব, যেমন এই টাইপের কোনো ধরনের বিজনেস।
Yes. So that is mainly, say, share from the secondary market. You are buying shares in order to make a profit out of that. You can keep it for 15 days, or you can keep it for 1 month in order to sell it at a higher price. So that would be the speculation profit. And this business is called speculation business because it involves risk. and there will be price fluctuations with regard to the shares of different companies. Maybe some companies can attract a higher price, and some companies may lose. It depends on the situation, on the performance of the company. But of course, people resort to speculation. People think that yes, this share may rise, price of that share may rise, there is a chance, and then they buy the shares. They may not make a profit or may lose. Depends on the situation. So that's why we can say that it involves a high risk all the time. So that is speculation business. So now what is said here in this question is that a trader in Bangladesh, he actually entered into a contract with a farmer in Uzbekistan in order to take a supply of cotton from him. In order to fulfill another contract, that means he has another contract with the customers of the European Union to supply ready-made garments. So what the trader thinks that if I can take the supply of cotton at an agreed price for 1 year, I can fulfill my conditions of contract with the European Union trader. What he has to do, he has to buy the raw materials from Uzbekistan, then he has to convert it into ready-made garments and then sell the ready-made garments to the European Union. So he has actually agreed with the European Union buyer to supply the ready-made garment at a certain price. That means, say, for example, T-shirt will be supplied to the European Union trader, and the T-shirt per piece would be $5. That is the agreed price. Now, the trader has actually calculated the cost of production and the profit. So since the sale price is $5, he has calculated it accordingly. That his cost of production would be $4 maybe, or maybe $3, and he will be earning a profit of $2 per piece. So it will depend on the cost of the raw materials. So if the cost of the raw materials remains the same as it is now, then he can make sure that he will make a profit of $2 per piece. But if the price of the raw materials is not same, that means if it rises in future, maybe after 1 month or 2 months, if it rises, then he cannot make a profit of $2 per piece. It might be a loss. So that's why he has actually reached an agreement with the trader in Uzbekistan, that is a farmer in Uzbekistan who supplies cotton. So he has also signed a contract with him saying that he will supply cotton to me for the future period of 1 year, or maybe for the next 1 year at this price, maybe at $2 per kg or whatever it is. And since he has agreed to the proposal and signed the contract, he will supply the cotton at that price. He cannot change the price. And since he cannot change the price, the trader in Bangladesh will be able to sell the product at $5, remaining the cost of production at $3 as he calculated before. So this will enable him to maintain the conditions which he has agreed with the European Union trader. So why he has done it? He has done is in order to guard against loss. The agreement has been signed by him with the Uzbek trader, Uzbek farmer, for guarding against the loss of future price fluctuations. So the question is whether this is a speculative business or speculation business. The answer would be this is not a speculation business. Rather, this is a normal business, and it has been done in order to guard against the loss. So you can go to section 261, clause A. If you go to section 2, subsection 61, clause A, you will find it. What is said there? What means the definition of speculation business has been given there. So go to that and find it out. Let us see what is said there. Into subsection 61, speculation business means business in which a contract for the purchase or sale of any commodity, including stocks and shares, is periodically or ultimately settled otherwise than by the actual delivery or transfer of the commodity or scrips, but does not include business in which a contract in respect of raw materials or merchandise is entered into by a person in the course of his manufacturing or mercantile business to guard against loss through future price fluctuations. So speculation business, purchase or sale of a commodity, takes place, including stocks and shares, is periodically or ultimately settled without the actual delivery or transfer of the commodity or scripts. Maybe sometimes the script is sold out, but you did not take the actual delivery of the shares, or you haven't actually delivered the shares. That means the physical shares. So this is actually settled periodically or ultimately without actual delivery of the product or commodity or shares or scripts, etc. So the main understanding is that this is a short-term business, and the business is not without any risk. It involves a high risk because the price of a commodity might rise or might be lower, and you can also incur a loss, or you can also make a profit. So if you can make a profit, this is your speculation profit, or if you cannot make a profit, it could be a speculation loss, whatever it is. But here in the definition clause A, it has said, but it does not include a contract in respect of raw materials or merchandise is entered into by a person in the course of manufacturing or mercantile business. So here we have given an example that the product will be manufactured by the trader in Bangladesh in order to supply the RMG. That means it's a manufacturing business. It might not be manufacturing business. It could be a trading business. That means the trader could purchase the products 100% finished product from any country, and he can sell the product to another country after adding some value to that. So in that case, the purpose would be similar, in order to guard against the loss. So since the agreement has been signed in order to guard against the loss, it cannot be treated as a speculative business or speculation business. Rather, it would be treated as a normal business. So you have to remember that section 2, subsection 61 and clause A. This is necessary for you to remember in order to answer this question. Okay.
What is it?
Then You can move to question number 7. What is said in question number 7 is that what is the legal point in exercise of power or jurisdiction by a successor officer, meaning that Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, while he takes over from another assessing officer. So question is relating to the legal point in exercise of power or jurisdiction by a successor officer. So successor officer means whenever the existing officer is transferred, another officer comes in. So the officer who comes in is the successor officer, and the officer who goes out is the predecessor officer. So what is the legal point in exercise of power or jurisdiction? So it is necessary in the Department of Taxes because the officer, especially the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, is a quasi-judicial officer. Quasi-judicial officer means he issues notices. It's like a court. So he issues notices under the Act in order to make the assessment. And afterwards, he makes assessment of an SSC, who submits documents. But legal provisions are that he cannot make the assessment without issuing statutory notices. Say, for example, Section 79, Section 83(1), Section 80. All these are the notices that have to be served on the SSC before making the assessment. So the SSC has to be given an opportunity to submit documents, or he has to be given an opportunity to appear before the DCT in person, and he is to be heard by the DCT. So say, for example, the DCT issues a notice under Section 79 asking for books of accounts, documents, evidences, bank statements, etc. And he also issues notices under Section 83(1 asking the SSC to appear before the DCT in person or to appear before the DCT through a legal representative. And then he gets transferred. So a new officer comes. What shall the new officer do? Whether the new officer shall again issue notice under Section 79 and 83(1. Does he need to do that, or he does not need to do that? That is the question. And if somebody says that, okay, notice under Section 79 has not been issued by the new officer, so there is no validity of that notice. Can he say like that? So he cannot say like that because notice already served by the predecessor officer stands valid. And the new officer who has taken over the charge of the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, he need not issue the notices already served. He can start from the point at which the predecessor officer left. That means the predecessor officer has served notices. Now the new officer can issue a notice for hearing. That means he can ask the SSC to appear before him in order to be heard. That could be done, but nothing else. So how to answer that question? What should be the legal provision? The legal provision is Section 7. That means Section 7 of the Income Tax Ordinance 1984 has to be taken into account for this. What is said in Section 7? Let us see the Income Tax Ordinance 1984. Section 7. Section 7, the title of Section 7 is Exercise of Jurisdiction by Successor. Where in respect of any proceeding under this ordinance, an income tax authority is succeeded by another, the income tax authority so succeeding may continue the proceeding from the stage at which it was left by the predecessor. So whatever I have discussed so far, it means the same thing. That means the predecessor officer where he left, or the stage at which he left, the new officer or the successor officer will start from that point. So he need not go back to the previous stages, rather he can start from this stage. So that is the legal jurisdiction authority of the income tax officer. So is it clear to you?
স্যার একটু কনফিউশন আছে, আরেকবার বললে ভালো হতো।
What is the confusion? Please tell me.
স্যার এই যে নিউ অফিসার কখন আসবে স্যার?
Sorry.
স্যার এই সেকশন 7 এ।
Section 7, yes.
জি স্যার, এটা একটু প্রবলেম স্যার, বুঝতে পারিনি।
Oh, Section 7. It's not a problem, really. If you go to Section 7, the title of the section is Exercise of Jurisdiction with Successor. So you must know what a successor is and what a predecessor is. Predecessor is the person who was here before, and successor is the person who has come later. That means successor is the new officer and predecessor is the previous officer. So I mean that the deputy commissioner of taxes of a circle, he sometimes gets transferred from another from one circle to another circle. That means the present deputy commissioner of taxes of circle X may be transferred to circle Y. That is possible. So whenever a deputy commissioner of taxes is transferred from one circle to another circle, so another officer comes in. So now he has to start proceeding. Start proceeding means he has to make assessments. So if he wants to make assessment, he has to go into the file and he have to consider individual cases. So let us suppose that he is trying to make an assessment of Mr. Y. So he finds in the file that in order to make the assessment for the assessment year 2021-2022, notice under section 79 has been issued. Notice under section 83(1) has been issued, but assessment has not been completed because the officer got transferred. So he could not complete the assessment or make the assessment. A new officer comes in. The new officer, what he will do? Will he start the proceedings from the beginning?
No,
That
sir.
means no, he will not do that. What he will do? He will start from the stage at which the previous officer left. That means
Yes,
the
sir.
previous officer issued notice under section 79 and 83(1). So he will not issue notice again under section 79 and 83(1). Rather, he will just issue a notice for hearing to appear before him in order to discuss the case. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Then let us move to question number 8. If any company transfers after-tax profit to retained earnings or any other fund, what would be the treatment of this amount from the viewpoint of income tax? So first you have to know the after-tax profit and before-tax profit. If the profit is before tax, then what happens? What is the obligation of the company? Company has to pay taxes on that. because the company has earned profit from the operation of the business. So that's why it has to pay taxes on that amount. So if there is a profit which was not taxed, it has to be taxed first. Then you can declare a dividend. The company can declare a dividend because dividend is paid out of the after-tax profit. So dividend is actually declared in the annual general meeting of the company. So a percentage of dividend is declared. That means maybe 10% on the face value, or maybe 15% of the face value, whatever it is. That is decided in the annual general meeting. So whenever dividend is declared from the after-tax profit, the remaining profit goes to the retained earning or goes to accumulated reserve. So that is appropriation of the after-tax profit. So after-tax profit and dividend, these two are obligations of the company, and afterwards what remains in its hand has to go to the retained earning or to the accumulated reserve. So that accumulated reserve is shown in the balance sheet, in the liability side of the balance sheet. And maybe in future, whenever the company runs a loss, and if the company needs to declare a dividend, it can declare dividend from the accumulated reserve or from the retained earning. That is also possible. But it cannot pay dividend more than that amount, what is remained in the business as accumulated profit or retained earning. So up to that amount, it is possible for the company to declare dividend even when the company runs a loss. Or from the after-tax profit, you can transfer any amount of money to any other fund, but that should be an appropriation of the after-tax profit and dividend. So sometimes an amount of profit, after-tax profit, is transferred to general reserve fund or any other fund, but that is appropriation of the profit. It is not actually charged in the profit and loss account, rather it is in the profit and loss appropriation account. So that is different. So it could be, if it is after-tax profit, it could be transferred to the retained earning, but the dividend has to be paid out of that, and then it should be transferred to the retained earning. But if the company decides that no dividend will be declared this year, maybe next year it will declare dividend, then it can be shown as retained earning, because out of retained earning you can pay the dividend, no problem. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, tell me whenever you need a break. If you need a break, tell me.
Yes, sir.
For now, you need a break or afterwards?
Yes, sir. Now.
নামাজের জন্য ব্রেক দিলে ভালো হতো স্যার।
Now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If it is now, then tell me for how many minutes?
15 minutes.
15 minutes maybe.
10 or 15?
Yes, sir.
15?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after 15 minutes, you come back.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay, have you come back?
Yes, sir.
Let us then start with question number 9. Let us suppose that the medical equipment was used by a professor of medicine before 10 years. The cost of acquisition was taka 5 lakhs. Depreciation was calculated at 5% for each year on a straight line basis. Now this machine has been sold out to another person at taka 6 lakhs. What kind of profit may be calculated from this transaction? So here you can see that the professor of medicine, he actually bought a machine that is a medical equipment 10 years ago. And he used to charge depreciation on that equipment at the rate of 5%. The cost of the medical equipment was taka 5 lakhs. And now he sold out this machine to another person at an amount of taka 6 lakhs. And what kind of profit could be calculated out of this transaction? That is the answer. Sorry, question. And you have to answer that question accordingly. So what kind of profit would there be?
That one is capital gain, 1 lakh. So capital gain 1 lakh.
Capital gain 1 lakh. Okay. How did you calculate that?
So selling price minus cost.
Selling price is 6 lakhs and minus cost is 5 lakh. So capital gain is 1 lakh.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And if it is used in his business, then income from business and profession would be 250,000. 2,50,000.
2,50,000. Okay. Okay. Then let us see how it should be calculated. Your sale proceed is taka 6 lakh. What is your written down value? You have charged depreciation at the rate of 5% each year. So you have done that for the last 10 years. Each year, the depreciation comes to how much? 25,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 25,000 each year on a straight line basis. So you have calculated 2,50,000 for the last 10 years. At the end of the 10th year, the written down value of the equipment stands at 2,50,000. But you have sold the machinery at taka 6 lakhs. So what is the profit you have earned out of that? The profit is 6 lakh minus 2,50,000. That means 3,50,000 would be your profit. But this profit could be divided into two categories. One category is business profit, another category is capital gain. So how to calculate that? How much is the capital gain and how much is the business profit? For that, you have to go to section 1916. So what section 1916 says? If one machinery, plant, equipment, building, etc. has been used by the business or for profession, has been sold out, and the sale proceed exceeds the written down value, so much of the excess as does not exceed the difference between the original cost and the written down value shall be treated as business income. this much has been said in section 1960. So what we understand from that is that if the sale proceed exceeds the written down value, yes, it has exceeded the written down value by taka 3,50,000. And now we have to consider one thing. So much of the excess as does not exceed the difference between the original cost and the written down value. Original cost is 5 lakh and written down value is taka 2,50,000. So difference between the two is taka 2,50,000. So out of taka 3,50,000, up to taka 2,50,000 would be business income. And what about the rest amount? That is the remaining amount of taka 1 lakh. That has not been said about here. So that amount would be treated as capital gain under section 31. So 2,50,000 would be treated as business income under section 28, and 1 lakh would be treated as capital gain under section 31. So that should be the answer to question number 9. And you should refer to section 1960. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, then you go to question number 10. The pharmacy of Mr. X fell into the area of the municipality which was illegally constructed. Now it has been demolished by the municipal corporation and compensation money was received from municipal corporation. The compensation money amounted to taka 10 lakh. The cost of the construction of the pharmacy was taka 8 lakh and written down value at the time of demolishment was taka 6 lakhs. Calculate the profit from the transaction from the viewpoint of income tax. Yes, what to do with that?
Full amount will be treated as income.
Yes, tell me.
Full amount will be treated as income as it is terminated by municipal city corporation.
Yes, it was demolished by the city corporation because the city corporation wanted to widen the road. So question of illegality or legality does not matter. But the compensation money has been received by the SSC from the municipal corporation. That means Mr. X, who was owning the pharmacy, he got a compensation money from the municipal corporation, which was taka 10 lakhs. But the cost of his construction of the pharmacy was taka 8 lakh. And at the time of demolishment, the written down value of the building stood at 6 lakhs taka.
So calculation will be same as like question number 9.
Question
2
number
lakh capital
9,
gain
yes.
and 2 lakh income from business and profession.
Okay. Then let us suppose that another point would be added to here. The point is, I haven't given this point here, but I can put it again. One point, and that point is at the time of demolishment, the written down value was taka 6 lakhs, and the SSC, that is Mr. X, sold out the scraps at taka 1 lakh. He sold out the scraps at taka 1 lakh. There is additional information.
So
that
income
may
from
be
business and
incorporated
profession would be 3 lakh, 1 lakh higher than before.
So which section you have to refer to for this? Is it section 1916 or something else?
Cannot remember sir section number.
Here the section would be different. If I put the scrap value here, that means if the SSC Mr. X has got a scrap value, that means he has sold out his rubbles. That means sold out his brick, sold out his rod, etc. to somebody, and he got 1 lakh taka. So that is his scrap value. In that case, the section would be a little bit different. That is 1918, not 1916. Rather, it should be 1918. And in 1918, it has been said that when a compensation money is received or any what should I say? The insurance money has been received by the SSC. The compensation money which exceeds the written down value, or the insurance money that exceeds the written down value, here the compensation money is 10 lakh taka, and it will exceed the written down value, which is taka 6 lakhs. It has exceeded the written down value by taka 4 lakhs. And the section says, so much of the excess as does not exceed the difference between the original cost and the written down value less the scrap value. Here one additional point is there. That means so much of the excess as does not exceed the difference between the original cost and the written down value less the scrap value. So written down value is 6 lakh taka, scrap value is 1 lakh taka. So difference between 6 lakh and 1 lakh is 5 lakh taka. And now the difference between 5 lakh and original cost is 8 lakh. That should be 3 lakh taka. So much of the excess that does not exceed the difference between the original cost and the written down value less the scrap value, which is taka 3 lakhs, we have calculated. Up to 3 lakh would be business profit. And if there is any other figure, that means the total profit figure is 4 lakh. So that's why 1 lakh taka would be capital gain. And 3 lakh taka would be
Yes, my শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
the calculation. And the relevant section is 1918. Okay, any question?
স্যার এটা আরেকবার বললে ভালো হবে স্যার।
Sorry,
আরেকবার বললে ভালো হবে স্যার এটা।
this one, okay. So here, as we said, that the owner of a pharmacy, he was Mr. X, and he was running the pharmacy maybe for a number of years. And unfortunately, the municipality decided to widen the road, and that's why it was demolished by the municipality. And for that, the municipality granted a compensation money to Mr. X for the demolishment of the pharmacy. The cost of construction, which was 8 lakh taka, which was a little more years before, because this is not a very big building, just a small building and one-storied building for running the shop. So 8 lakh taka was spent in constructing the pharmacy. However, compensation money has been given to him by the municipal corporation for an amount of taka 10 lakhs. Written down value at the time of demolishment is 6 lakhs taka, because he was charging depreciation while he was showing his accounts before the income tax authority. So the written down value at the time of demolishment stood at taka 6 lakhs, and he got compensation 10 lakhs. So how to calculate the profit first? The difference between the compensation money and the written down value. So written down value is 6 lakh and compensation money is 10 lakh. So the difference between the two is 4 lakh. That is the profit, the total profit. And construction cost was 8 lakh. That means you can treat it as acquisition price. Now I have incorporated one more information, and that information is that he sold out his bricks, rods, etc. when the building was demolished, and he got 1 lakh taka. That was an extra amount of money he received. So now how to calculate the profit from business, and also whether you can calculate any other profit. Now you see the total profit is 4 lakh as we have calculated. And as I have given you one more information, 1 lakh taka from the scrap value. So we have to refer to section 1918. In 1918, it has been said that when you receive a compensation money or insurance money because of the demolishment of the building or the destruction of the building or plant or machinery, whatever it is, because of flood, because of famine, because of flood, because of earthquake or any natural calamities, etc. In that case, the compensation money or insurance money, if it exceeds the written down value, here it has exceeded the written down value, and it has exceeded the written down value by taka 4 lakhs, then so much of the excess as does not exceed the difference between the original cost and the written down value less the scrap value. So you have to first calculate written down value, how much it is 6 lakh minus scrap value, that means 1 lakh, so it is 5 lakhs. And you have to again deduct 5 lakh from the original cost. Original cost is 8 lakh. So 5 lakh and 8 lakh, the difference between the two is 3 lakh. But our total profit was taka 4 lakh. So up to this 3 lakh taka, it would be treated as business profit, and the remaining amount, if there is any, would be treated as the capital gain. So 1 lakh taka would be capital gain, and 3 lakh taka would be your business profit under section 28. This is the calculation.
Sir, here I have got 1 lakh extra in terms of scrap. So can I say that my total gain is 5 lakh instead of 4 lakh?
Your total gain is 5 lakh, but you have to follow the section. Your gain is 1 lakh, that is true, but your total gain here, that is the amount you have got 10 lakh as compensation money, that exceeds the demolishment, sorry, the written down value by taka 4 lakh. So if you have 4 lakh taka, which is the exceeded value, that is your total profit. But section says that whenever you calculate the business profit and capital gain, you have to calculate like that. So what is that? The total profit is 4 lakh, but you have to calculate it in a special way. The special way is that the compensation money exceeds the written down value, but it is said so much of the excess as does not exceed the original cost and the written down value less the scrap value. So scrap value should be deducted from the written down value. So it means that written down value is 6 lakh taka, and from this taka 1 lakh, which is the scrap value, has to be deducted. So the written down value should be 5 lakh, and this 5 lakh and the original cost, that is 8 lakh. The difference between the two is 3 lakh. So this 3 lakh up to that amount should be treated as business profit, and the remaining portion, that is 1 lakh, has to be treated as your so you have to do accordingly. So understand what I mean?
Yes, sir. So another question is on this compensation below, there has a fixed tax rate, and that is final tax rate. So has there any implication of the tax rate in our calculation?
You mean tax rate?
No, sir. Tax that is imposed on the compensation.
VAT. Okay, tax and VAT. You don't have any implication because whatever the tax or whatever the VAT, whenever total tax will be calculated, business tax and capital gain tax, and if something has been deducted as tax or VAT, whatever it is, those will be given as credit to the SSC. So that does not matter. So if income tax has already been calculated or deducted at source, and the final calculation of, you see the credit would be shown there. That means already a certain amount of money has been deducted at source, so that will be given credit at the time of final calculation of tax or VAT, whatever it is. That is possible. And at the time of calculation of final tax, definitely whatever amount has been deducted at source, or whatever amount you paid in different sources, or whatever amount you paid under section 74(1), everything is to be calculated together, and everything should be taken into account. But the original figure has to be taken into account at the time of calculation of this profit. But tax will be deducted and shown credit as per final calculation sheet. Okay. If it is okay, then we move to question number 11.
Yes, sir. Question number 11. Can proceed.
In question 11, the problem is ABC company has got a paid up capital of taka 1 crore and accumulated profit of taka 20 lakhs. It has purchased 2 chips amounting to taka 80 lakhs. What will be the treatment from the viewpoint of income tax? So whether Deputy Commissioner of Taxes would treat this amount, whatever has been shown by the SSC accordingly or not, whether he will accept it or he will not accept it, or he will calculate any other profit from this figure. So here the company has got a paid up capital of taka 1 crore and it has got an accumulated profit of taka 20 lakhs. So 1 crore 20 lakhs taka it has got as profit and accumulated profit. Sorry, paid up capital and accumulated profit. Now it has decided to purchase 2 chips and the cost of the chips will be 80 lakhs taka. So first you have to do, there is a restriction on the purchase of chips by a company. And it has bought 2 chips. Number of chips does not matter, but the amount matters. And you have to first calculate 10% of the combined amount of paid up capital and accumulated profit, which is 1 crore 20 lakhs, and 10% of that is 12 lakhs. Yeah. So cost of the chips is 80 lakhs. So difference between 12 lakh and 80 lakh is 68 lakhs. And 50% of this amount, 50% of the amount exceeding the amount of paid up capital and accumulated profit, that is 10% of this amount. As I said, that 10% of this amount is 12 lakhs, and the cost of chips 68 lakhs has exceeded that amount by taka 34 lakhs. So sorry, 68 lakhs and 50% of the 34 lakhs taka. It is a restricted amount. Restricted amount, 34 lakhs taka would be treated as income from other source under section 33. But you can refer to section 19 here. If you go to section 19, the elaboration has been given here.
Sir, shouldn't we consider this calculation for 2 jeep differently?
For both?
Sir, for 2 jeep, shouldn't we calculate differently? Here is written that the value of individual motor car or jeep exceed 10%. So individual motor car value is 40 lakhs. So the difference is 28 lakh. And shouldn't we calculate based on that?
No. You can just consider both the cards together, because you have to refer to section 19, subsection 27. So in that subsection, it has been said, when an SSC being a company purchases directly or on hire 1 or more motor car or jeep, and the value of any motor car or jeep exceeds 10% of its paid up capital, together with the reserve and accumulated profit, then 50% of the amount that exceeds such 10% of the paid up capital, together with reserve and accumulated profit, shall be deemed to be the income of such SSC for the income year classifiable under the head income from other sources. So the value of the jeep or car, whatever it is, if it purchases one car, no problem. If it purchases two cars, that is also not a problem. But main thing is that 10% of the paid up capital plus accumulated profit has to be calculated first, which we have calculated here, and that is taka 12 lakhs. And now the value of the chips, it is 80 lakhs taka. 80 lakhs taka has been given by the company. So it has been given from the cash or from bank, whatever it is. So the difference between 12 lakh and 80 lakhs is 68 lakhs. So if it exceeds, it is said that if it exceeds the 10% of the paid up capital plus the accumulated profit, then 50% of that amount, 50% of the exceeded amount is lakhs taka. So 50% of exceeded amount is 34 lakhs taka. In that case, 34 lakhs taka would be treated as income from other sources, which has been clearly spelled out here in section 1927. So the income would be calculated under section 33, read with section 1927. So that is the section that the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes would mention in his assessment order.
So for
So,
any means, doesn't they mean for any individual motor car?
For
any motor car, doesn't they mean that for individual car or only?
Not for individual cars. This is for the car to be used by the company for official purposes. Individual means if a director purchases a car, that's a different thing. He will purchase his own car with his own money, but it does not affect the company. So whenever the company buys a car or a jeep, so it should do it in its own name. That means the car or the jeep has to be registered in the name of the company. So that is the company's asset. And that asset has to be shown in the balance sheet of the company. If it is one car, it should be shown in the asset. If there are two cars, of course, they should be shown in the asset side of the company's balance sheet as company assets.
Sir,
So,
if car is purchased at different time, then how will you consider this matter? Different time, not at a time, two car. One car at now, one car 1 month later, then what will be calculation?
yes, so that should be calculated for the whole year together. And you see, if you purchase the car, you can do it now. And in that case, there is a paid up capital and there is an accumulated profit. Both are available there. So if you do it after 6 months, again, in that case also, if you have the paid up capital and the accumulated profit, you can also calculate similarly the difference between the two, and the money has to be restricted accordingly. So this is maybe what you can do is that the total number of cars that you will be buying throughout the year, that will be considered together, meaning that the paid up capital accumulated profit that should be added up, and later on 10% you will calculate of that figure, and then you will see how many cars have been bought during the whole year. So maybe 4 cars or 5 cars, whatever it is, the total price of the cars have to be calculated, and then you see the difference between the figures as we have read out here, and then you can find out the amount that exceeds the 10% of the paid up capital and accumulated profit, and later on you can find out the 50% of the exceeded amount. So for the whole year you have to do it together then.
Okay, sir, got the point.
Got the point?
Yes, sir.
It's like another example. I can give you a very good example for that. Say, for example, you are selling some capital asset, say piece of land owned by a company. So you are selling out part of it now. So the sale price you have to take into account, and the acquisition price you have got in your hand. So you are finding out the capital gain, and you are imposing capital gain tax on that figure. And afterwards, in the same income year, you are again selling another part of the piece of land, and you are selling it at a certain price, and you have got an acquisition price as well. Then what shall you do? You have to do one thing. The total sale value, whatever the company received earlier and the company now receiving, the total sale price you have to add together. And the total acquisition price has to be added together as well. Then you have to find out the capital gain. And on the capital gain, you have to impose the relevant rate of capital gain tax. So as this is in the whole year, that is in the same income year, you have to add them together. Had it been in different years, then it would have been different. But since it is not in different year, it is in 1 year, single year, in that case, you can add up. Whenever purchases or sales have been made, you can add up together. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so question number 12. Mr. X purchased construction materials for construction of 10-storied building worth 40 lakhs on a credit from a company in Nopur, Dhaka. The amount of 40 lakhs has been unpaid for the last 3 years. What would be the treatment from the viewpoint of the income tax?
Sir, deemed income.
Deemed income. Yes. Which section is this?
Sir, 19 under subsection 21.
21.
Sir, 1921.
No, not 1921. This is 1929. If you go to section 1929, you will see it has been properly said here. Where an assessee, not being an assessee engaged in real estate business during any income year, purchases on credit any material for the purpose of construction of building or house property or its unit and fails to pay the sum or any part thereof, representing the liability in respect of such purchase, the sum or any part thereof which has not been paid within 2 years from the end of the income year in which the purchase was made, shall be deemed to be the income of the assessee for the income year immediately following the expiry of the said 2 years, and be classifiable under the head income from other sources. So this 19 subsection 29 is applicable here. So the person concerned is not a real estate businessman. He is a normal individual, and he has constructed a house, and he bought materials. Materials means construction or building materials from a shopkeeper in Nagpur Road, and he bought the materials for 40 lakhs, which has remained unpaid for the last 2 years, more than 2 years, of course, here. But this section says that if you buy raw materials or building materials or construction materials, whatever it is, and if you do not pay it off within 2 years' time from the end of the year in which you bought them, then following the say 2 years, it would be treated as income for that income year. So say, for example, it was bought in the income year 2017, 2018. So you are supposed to pay it off in the next 2 years. That means 2018-19, 2019-20. During these 2 years or within these 2 years, you have to pay it off. So if you do not pay it by the 30th day of June 2020, in that case, the next income year, and this will be treated as your income from other source. So 2021 is the year during which it would be treated as income from other source. And the following assessment year, the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes would treat this income as income from other source and assess it to tax. Okay. So 1929 you have to follow. Section 13, sorry, question 13, it refers to section 1915C. So you have to consult that section 1915C, then you will find it out how to treat it. Not a difficult one, but DCT will treat it as a income, as an income, and he will follow section 19, subsection 15, clause C. Question 14, the solution you will find in section 19(9). Section 19, subsection 9. So this is with regard to salami money. Salami money is in addition to the rental income you are receiving. So whenever you receive salami money, the DCT will treat it as income from other source. But you have got the option that you can ask him to distribute the amount or allocate the amount over the entire period of the lease. But that lease period cannot be more than 5 years. So if it is within 5 years, then you can allocate the full amount of the salami money. If you receive salami money, say an amount of takas 10 lakhs. So this 10 lakh taka can be divided over the period of the lease period, over the period of the lease if it is 5 years. So 2 lakh taka each year would be treated as income from other source. And that refers to section 19, subsection 9. Question 15, that is with regard to the borrowing of money from a bank. And it is in relation to house property income under section 24. So sometimes it happens that during the construction period, you have to pay the interest on the borrowed money, or if you even do not pay it, the bank also charges you. And you cannot pay it because you don't have any income generation. So you have to refer to section 25, subsection 1 and clause G. That means when you start generating income from the house property, in that case, for the first 3 years of income generation, you can charge the interest that has been charged by the bank. That means whatever interest you have to pay during the period of the construction, the first 3 years of income generation, in those 3 years, the total interest for the construction period has to be spread. If your interest is 6 lakh taka to pay for the construction period, then 6 lakh taka can be divided into 3 parts, 2 lakh taka each against the income you are receiving from the property. That means during the first 3 years, you can deduct the charged, deduct the interest that would be charged by the bank. So go to section 25, subsection 1 and clause G. Question number 16. Here also it has been said that 2 horses have been used by the business for carrying the merchandise, and ultimately they died, and the purchase price of the horses was taka 10 lakh, but the trader has got 50,000 taka out of the sale of the carcasses. So what did you do? it would be a loss, of course, under section 29, subsection 1 and clause 112. So that means 10 lakh taka is the purchase price of the horses, and 50,000 taka you have received out of the sale of the carcasses. So 9,50,000 taka would be treated as loss, business loss. So it is under section 29, subsection 1 and section 12, clause 12. Question: trading liability 50 lakhs, which has been lying unpaid for 4 years. And what is the provision with regard to the treatment of the unpaid trading liability? So this is also related to section 1915C. So you just consult section 19, subsection 15 and clause C. So the answer would be there, and it is also not very difficult. 18, analysis of simply analysis of accretion sufficient to arrive at a decision regarding change in asset or fund. If not, why is it not sufficient? So this is in relation to the wealth statement or the statement of assets and liabilities to be submitted by the SSC under section 80. So please go to section 80, and if you find out when the SSC has to submit the wealth statement, and in the wealth statement, what do you have to submit? You have to submit the total figure of wealth. That means to total figure of asset and total figure of if you deduct the liabilities from the assets, you will get net assets, and you can get net asset for this year, and you can also get net asset for the previous year. So if the net asset of this year is more than that of the previous year, in that case, there is an accretion. So if you calculate the accretion, it means that there is an increase in the net asset. So it is said that whether this net asset calculation or accretion is sufficient enough to determine or arrive at a decision regarding the change in asset or fund. It is not sufficient, because answer is the individual asset and individual liability has to be taken into account, because an individual asset could be sold out, and again another asset could be bought. The similar asset could be bought. So figures could be changed. So that's why you have to take into account, the answer is you have to take into account each individual asset and each individual liability for consideration of the change in assets or funds. That is the answer. Question 19 is intangible addition, and how decision could be made with regard to sale, construction, reconstruction of sale, and determining inflation. First of all, you have to know the intangible addition, what it is. Have you heard of it before? Intangible addition.
Intangible শুনছি স্যার, addition intangible addition টা শুনি নাই।
Sorry?
Intangible তো স্যার শুনছি, intangible যেটা ধরা ছোঁয়া যায় না, যেটা আমরা goodwill বলি, এ ধরনের এগুলা।
No, not goodwill.
Addition টা স্যার বুঝি নাই স্যার।
Goodwill is a different thing, and intangible addition is a different thing. Goodwill has got a value. It is an asset, and you bought it. The asset was bought by you. But when intangible addition is mentioned, it says that the difference between the gross profit, what you have shown in the trading account, and the gross profit that has been calculated by the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes at the time of assessment. So difference between the two is intangible addition. That means whenever the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes calculates gross profit at a higher figure than what you have shown in the trading account, the difference is the intangible addition. So that is an asset, of course, should be shown in the balance sheet. And remaining part of the question is how to calculate the reconstructed sale, and estimated sale, and of course the inflation for purchase. So these are some issues which have to be elaborated well. Estimation of sale could be made when you have not maintained the books of accounts, or you have not produced the books of accounts. In that case, the books of accounts or the statement of account that you have submitted before the receipt could be rejected by him, and he can estimate the sale, and he can also estimate the profit, and he can arrive at a figure of net profit. And reconstruction of sale could be made at the in the circumstances like whenever your purchase is vouched and verifiable, and your inventory book has been maintained by you, but your sales are also vouched and verifiable, but not 100% vouched and verifiable. In that circumstances, reconstruction of sale could be made. And inflation in purchase, it is when your purchase is not fully vouched and verifiable, but other things are vouched and verifiable. That is, sales are vouched and verifiable, inventory book has been maintained, but purchase is not vouched and verifiable fully. In that case, it could be decided by the decity that you might have enhanced the purchase. You might have enhanced the purchase because of the reason that it would give you a less gross profit. And if your gross profit is less, your net profit will also be less, and your tax will also be less. So in that case, there could be an inflation. He can estimate an inflation, maybe 5% or 10%, whatever it is, out of the purchase figure. And that could be added to profit. So that is inflation. And the last question, under which circumstances will the Commissioner of Taxes can ask for a statement or statement of expenditure from those who are not supposed to submit those? As individual assessors are supposed to submit the wealth statement whenever his gross wealth exceeds 40 lakhs of taka. And whenever an individual assessee exceeds his total income of taka 4 lakhs, he is supposed to submit statement of expenditure. And receipt statement or statement of expenditure, if he thinks that this SSC has got some additional assets which are not reflected in the statement of assets and liabilities. So if such an information comes to his notice, then he can ask for that. That means he can issue a notice under Section 80 asking the SSC to submit the statement of assets and liabilities and the statement of expenditure. So which are also called IT10B and IT10BB. So that is the answer to question 20. Okay, so if you have any question to ask me, you can ask me question, or you can ask me question even if you want to in another class, maybe in future class, that is also possible.
Sir, what is the section that that is number 20, sir?
Can you repeat?
Sir, in number 20, we will refer to which section?
Which section you are referring to?
Which section shall be referred to? Where is it written?
A little bit loud, please.
Question number 20. Which section you will refer?
Oh, okay, okay. This is section 80.
Thank you, sir.
Go to section 80, you will find when an SSC is supposed to submit the wealth statement, and also the statement of expenditure, and two figures are needed. If his wealth, gross wealth exceeds 40 lakhs taka, then he is supposed to submit the wealth statement. And at the same time, if his income exceeds 4 lakh taka, in that case, so section 80 will give you the answer. But the last part of the question, you will not find the answer in that section. Whether the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes can ask for the statement of expenditure or the wealth statement, even the SSC is not supposed to submit that mandatorily. This is not given in that section. This is different. So it is to be remembered by you that whenever the DCT receives an information from a particular source that the SSC has got some assets which are not reflected in the wealth statement or the statement of assets and liabilities, then he can ask for the submission of the statement of assets and liabilities, even if the SSC is not mandatorily supposed to submit that. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So that is not found in section 80, but you have to remember this. Okay, if there is no other question, then we can close here. Thank you very much for your attention.
Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, Adab, sir.
Adab.